The mood is quiet, innocent, and honest beyond words. This, faithfully, is the way East Main Street looked on a midweek summer afternoon. This is how the county courthouse rose from the pavement in sharp, endearing ugliness. These, precisely, are the downtown telegraph poles, fretting the sky, looped and threaded from High Street to the depot and back again, humming of deaths and transactions. Not everyone could love these avenues just emerged from the mud rut period, or those trolley cars under the high elms, but those who did loved well and were somehow nourished thereby. What has become of the frank 5-nickel postcards that fixed images of all those things? They arrived from the next town up the line or from across the continent, inscribed for all to see. Your ma and I stopped at this hotel before you were ever heard of. Or shamelessly, well, if she doesn't care any more than that, I don't either. See you Tuesday. On their tainted surfaces were some of the truest visual records ever made of any period. They are still around. Tens of thousands of them lie in the dust of attics and junk shops. Here and there, files of good ones are carefully arranged in libraries, museums, and in the homes of serious private collectors. Postcard collectors today are a knowing and organized lot, well aware of what to look for, where to look, and how much to pay. As hobbies go, collecting early cards, circa 1890 to 1910, is financially reasonable. Prices range from a penny to $1 an item. In the 1900s, sending and saving picture postcards was a prevalent and often a deadly boring fad in a million middle-class family homes. Yet the plethora of cards printed in that period now forms a solid bank from which to draw some of the most charming and, on occasion, the most horrid mementos ever bequeathed one generation by another. At their best, the purity of the humble vintage American card shines exceedingly bright in 1948, for postcards are now in an aesthetic slump from which they may never recover. Most recent postcards serve largely as gaudy boasts that such and such a person visited such and such a place and for some reason had a fine time. Gone is all feeling for actual appearance of street, of lived architecture, or of human mien. In the early century days, color photography was of course in its infancy. Cards were usually made from black and white photographs, subsequently tinted by hand lithography. Withal, the best ones achieved a fidelity and a restraint that most current color photography printers have yet to match, notably in flesh tints and in the rendering of patina and the soft tones of town buildings and streets. Made as a routine chore by heaven knows who anonymous photographer, the picture survives as a passable composition, a competent handling of color, and a well-nigh perfect record of place. Indeed, transcending place, it rings a classic note on the theme of small-town main streets. There is a rich postcard field of realism, sentiment, comedy, fantasy, and minor historical document. They invite you to consider them as fondly, as patriotically, or as historically as you like. Walker Evans, 1948.